We know not everyone can keep up with all the news from the week. That's why CBS News Colorado has gathered stories that topped our website from the last 5 days. Here's a look at some of the stories that garnered the most interest on CBSColorado.com. The verdict in a big trial has brought closure to a tragedy in the community of Boulder. A Boulder jury rejected the King Soopers gunman's insanity defense. The gunman who shot and killed 10 people at a King Soopers store back in 2021 will spend the rest of his life in prison. The jury found the gunman guilty on all 10 counts of first-degree murder and 38 counts of attempted murder. The last 3.5 years, though, have been an emotional journey for the families of the victims as the competency of the gunman was debated back and forth. But on Monday, as we talked about, it came to a close.
In this moment, I feel peace. I also do feel sorrow. It's a bittersweet moment.
When we found out that there was a verdict, we began to kind of shake and cry, and I didn't expect it. And I didn't expect to start crying as all of the officers lined the hallway for us, and it was a really powerful moment.
The families of the victims thanked first responders who put their lives on the line to stop the violence, and the district attorney's office for making sure the shooter was held accountable for the lives he took. As both presidential candidates are making pushes in battleground states during the final weeks of their campaigns, Governor Jared Polis talked about the Trump campaign possibly making a stop in Aurora in the coming weeks.
If the president comes, I hope he doesn't bring with him an element of lawlessness or people that are causing trouble. Obviously, we welcome anybody to the city of Aurora, to Colorado, but obviously we worry about some of the criminal element that he brings with him.
Well, the governor hopes a stop would be a positive one, saying the former president could perhaps play a round of golf at a local golf course or visit a local restaurant. Thornton police are searching for the driver of this car, accused of deliberately driving into a person on York Street near 128th Avenue. Police say that back on Friday, September 13th, the vehicle sped past the person walking when the person yelled to the driver to slow down. The driver then turned around, and police say they then deliberately drove into that person, seriously hurting them. The vehicle is a 1997 black Honda Civic. A lawsuit filed by Barry Morphew, Suzanne Morphew's husband, and has been dismissed by a judge. Morphew filed that suit against the 11th Judicial District Attorney's Office, the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. Morphew was arrested back in May of 2021 on charges of murdering Suzanne, who was last seen on Mother's Day in 2020. Her remains were later found in September of 2023. Now, in the dismissal, the judge said Barry Morphew, the people of Colorado, and Suzanne Morphew all deserved better. In a statement, Barry's attorney says in part, quote, Mr. Morphew's legal battle is far from over. As Judge Domenico ruled, it appears everyone involved now agrees that Mr. Morphew should not have been arrested, at least not at that time. The last 10 years have been one major catastrophe after another for Boulder resident John Pelletshoe. The devastating floods of 2013 poured a mudslide through his house. He barely escaped death while being carried down a left-hand canyon by a wall of mud, rocks, water, and debris. Then, in 2017, he was out of town helping a friend when bad luck struck again. Fire destroyed his home that time. Now, the only thing that's left is the foundation. Your reporter in Boulder, Alan Janae, visited that property. That's now dealing another blow, a stunningly high property tax bill.
There isn't much left here at the place John Pelletshoe called home, an empty foundation, the way it has remained for 7 years since a friend brought him home and he found it consumed by fire.
They came me up here and I looked at them, I couldn't take it.
Gone. There is a deep emotional attachment to this home of 30 years, which he has yet to rebuild. Now the property tax bill is another painful bite.
They reassessed you.
Yeah.
And what happened?
It went up over 2 times, it went up.
He ended up with a property tax assessment similar to his neighbors after they challenged theirs.
Doesn't make sense because the tax bill valued my land at over 3 times my neighbor's land.
Same amount of land.
Same amount of land, same acreage.
Except while he has only a foundation, his neighbor has a large house. And so John, too, challenged his appraisal.
I filed an appeal and they denied it. I don't know why. They don't say why, they just say I denied.
In Boulder, property values rose sharply during the pandemic era, upon which the latest appraisals are based.
35% is our median increase.
Boulder County's property appraiser, Cynthia Braddock, admits a lot of people have been hit hard.
It is painful to send out an assessment that's large, that is that large, and that we know will impact people and their ability to pay their taxes.
But in John's case, what they didn't do was recognize an error.
Looks like he missed something here. And in an average year, we're able to pay attention to those appeals that come in and really dig into them and find out what's going on.
Out of 110,000 homes appraised, about 25,000 homeowners brought challenges.
Is it an oversimplification to say that the appeal was rubber stamp denied?
I think we reviewed everything, but just not at a deep level. So we weren't able to really dig in and pull up maps and go in the field and make phone calls because of the volume.
And so John will get a new bill.
Where do you think it's going to come in now?
I think it'll be close to half.
And he'll hold on, hoping again to rebuild someday in a place he loves.
I want to die here. This is my land.
The property John and his neighbors own is oddly shaped. The assessor says much of the land is unusable on steep slopes, and that will now be taken into consideration. For those seeking to challenge property appraisals, remember you can appeal, and if rejected like John, there's still an appeals process beyond that. For a more in-depth look of these stories and the rest of the news you may have missed this week, you can always visit our website at cbscolorado.com.